Hey guys, one of the most important factors in making you successful is going to be your environment. So today I want to speak about how to optimize your environment, how to know if your environment is serving you or not to be at your highest potential because this truly does make a difference. I'm currently in Mexico and this is my last week here. And throughout these last 2 months, I've been in some different environments. I volunteered in a hostel. I lived in two different apartments in Tulum. And I can also compare this to where I live in Montreal, in the house I live with my parents. And I find that I'm much more productive here, having an apartment, being alone, and having my bubble of energy. And I realized that yes, at home, you have the comfort of your house. Sure, in my case, it's nicer than it is at home than in this apartment. But energetically, it is not serving me. And it was making me more lazy. It was making me less productive. And I'm willing to say that was one of the main factors that was keeping me stuck and preventing me from progressing in life. Let me explain why. At home, I've got my parents, I've got my sister, there's a dog, there's always people at home. And even though I have my room downstairs, I have my own space, you are not necessarily comfortable with all these energies in your space. You've got your parents always asking you to do things. You can't really be as organized, and just having all these energies, if you're sensitive to these energies, well, it might feel overwhelming. And it's hard to actually work on things and add more things for me, that are important to me, to my schedule, when, I feel overwhelmed from all these little things, chores, whatever I need to do to help my parents, and like whatever's going on in the house, It's not necessarily much, but energetically it feels like a lot. And you also have, you've lived with these people potentially all your life, and there's certain trigger points, traumas that you have related to these people that can be really draining energetically. So here I'm in Mexico, I've got my space, I've got my place, I've got my cousin who's my neighbor, we work together, and this is to me a great environment to grow and improve. So what am I gonna do once I head back to Montreal? Well, I'm ready to move out. I'm ready to get an apartment because although it's gonna cost me more, it's gonna be much better for me to be in an environment where I have my own space. And yeah, I'll have to make more money. Yeah, I'll have to work more, but I'll have the energy to do so, and I'll have the energy to progress because I talk a lot about seam retention on this channel if you've been following the channel. And seam retention is something that gives you energy, that gives you power to chase your goals. But for one thing, I said that at home, if you're living with your parents, you're used to comfort, you're used to slacking off, you're used to that environment. Not only do you have the energies of other people kind of disturbing you, but since you can't be productive, or you struggle to be productive and you feel stuck, potentially because of that, you're gonna gravitate more towards being lazy, watching TV shows, being on social media. And that's honestly what I kind of felt like I was doing when I was at home. Like, I had low energy and yeah, it just wasn't a conductive environment. And here, now that I'm here, I'm working a lot and I feel good. And I want to transfer that back to where I live. So, like I said, seam retention gives you energy. So, put yourself in an environment where you can be productive, you can work hard, and it should go great. You'll be able to progress on your goals, you'll be able to progress in life, and you'll feel good that way. If I reiterate on my point one last time, your environment is more important than you think. Maybe you're not realizing that it's stopping you from growing. So look into these things. So your environment could be where you live, but it can also be the people you surround yourself with. At home, a lot of energies. For me, it's difficult to be productive. Here, I have my own place, my own bubble energy, but I still have my cousin close, someone who I can work hard together with that pushes me to be better. So this is a good environment for me. So when I go home, I'm thinking of moving out, and maybe you should consider that too. If you think that would serve you, yes, you might have to work harder, but you'll have the energy to do so, especially if you're on semen retention. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.